What is going on, community? What is going on, people of Earth? Welcome back to the Flash by Night channel, and welcome back to the back-to-back episodes of Catching Up with the Comics. Last episode, of course, we caught up with Hulk issues number 1 through 3 from Donny Cates and Ryan Ottley, and I kind of gave some thoughts on how I liked the run, the start of the run, and some things that I saw, a few spoilers, things like that. We're gonna do the same thing here for issues number 4 through 6. I think I made it clear that I did like the Starship Hulk idea, and that hasn't changed. I do have a few more questions we're going to pose during this episode about the Starship Hulk story, and about, I think they call it Smash the Smasher Knot. I think that's the story's name. About the story in general. So what we're gonna do is start with what I thought of issue number 4. Of course, we've got this Gwen verse. I think it's Gwen verse or ex-Gwen variant, because as I said in the last episode, I kind of got caught up grabbing some of these variants, and I thought to myself, I'm already reading Thor. I want to read the Banner of War and see what's going on in there. And I have variants for most of the issues of Hulk just because I want the variants. So why not read them? Anyway, we get into issue number 4. And issue number 4 basically introduces us properly to President Thunderbolt Ross. Yes, Thunderbolt Ross is the president of Earth 122. And he is basically going to meet up with that Earth's Bruce Banner, who, as we said before, is not the Hulk. He managed to crack the gamma code almost. He managed to actually use the science as most Bruce Banners, I assume, intended, except it got taken over by the government, used as a weapon, and all these other things that you probably expect to happen. So here we get to meet Thunderbolt Ross, and we also get to see a snapshot of some of the things that Ross has done to stay in power, including basically wiping out the X-Men, who on this Earth may be mutated by the gamma radiation. But this issue is kind of a conversation between Bruce Banner and Ross wanting to, now that he knows a Hulk is on his Earth, he wants to take this Hulk down and study it and do all the sciencey things, and he wants Bruce to call that Hulk back because he assumes that this is one of Bruce's creations, and Bruce tells him it's not. And so Ross basically sends everything he has at Hulk, trying to take him down. Hulk kind of cavalierly jumps out there ready to fight, but I guess they have some Hulk breaking weapons, I guess you could put it like that. And again, we see Bruce we see our Bruce inside of Starship Hulk kind of amp up the rage engine, with the Hulk kind of locked back and having to fight, I think, Asgardian gods, and maybe having to fight Marvel zombies, but basically having Bruce, or having the Hulk, fight more things to build up the rage to power this Hulk engine, as he kind of runs through all of these tanks and planes and things that Ross thought would take him down. And eventually we fast forward to the fact that Ross has a kid held hostage that he wants to use as leverage over his Bruce Banner to make his Bruce Banner bring in the Hulk. And the kid who he is holding hostage, and you get one of these countdown sequences because Ross is in the area in a plane with this kid at gunpoint by an open bay door. and you get this countdown from Ross down 10 to 0. And if you've ever watched one of those movies where somebody's making a threat and there's a countdown, and like, you know, you've got characters sweating, you've got this intense music going on. I don't know if anybody else felt that, but I kind of felt that during this countdown. And then we find out that the kid is actually Peter Parker, who has been bitten by a radioactive spider. And if you could not have guessed, that radiation is probably gamma. And at 0, Ross kicks the kid out of the plane. Kid lands, and we are about to get a gigantic Spider Hulk fight. And that's how issue number 4 leaves off. Like I said, it was a really quick read. All of these books have been quick reads, and I know some people wanted more high level from this Hulk run, as I mentioned in the last video. It is not the Immortal Hulk, which is fine by me. I'm having fun on this little Hulk roller coaster myself. But we pick up in issue number 5 with the little Peaky Blinders variant for the Hulk. I like these blinder variants, but the Hulk is the only one I think I bought. But I do like these. But we pick up in issue number 5, and you do have a fight between the Hulk, the Starship Hulk, and this Spider-Man Hulk. And it's a pretty cool fight. We also see something that I did not see coming until it happened, which is that this Betty, who I assumed has been the subconscious and probably almost a 4th aspect of Starship Hulk, is starting to take over and starting to be more aggressive. So during this fight, she manages to get control of the Starship Hulk and kind of push Bruce to the side and ratchet things up in the Hulk Rage engine even more to win this fight versus the Spider-Man Hulk. But we also still keep up with the alternate worlds, Bruce Banner and Thunderbolt Ross. And Ross is still trying to get him to give him more information about this Hulk that he doesn't have, but Ross still wants it. And so Bruce is trying to get the Hulk to come back, but it's not working out because Betty, who is mutating in a sense, has taken over. I'm not sure if I missed a whole lot out of that, but I'm going to slide over to issue 6 because, as I said before, or maybe I haven't said this, but I think issues number 2 and 3 and issues number 4 and 5 probably should have been individual issues. I think 2 and 3 probably could have been one issue. 4 and 5 probably could have been one issue. But that's not a really big deal. That's not hurting my enjoyment of the book. Finally, we get to issue number 6 of the Hulk and the finale of the Smastronaut story, which I've been enjoying. We pick up with Betty here in the pilot seat of the Starship Hulk, kind of leaving Bruce flailing in the wind outside in the in space, basically. But you know, of course, all of this is happening in the Starship Hulk's mind. But what she has done, because Thunderbolt Ross has set upon the Hulk like a whole bunch of monsters, whole bunch of gamma monsters, to try and take down the Hulk, because he is tired of his Bruce and the other Bruce and all of their shenanigans. And so Betty basically turns it up to 9. They say turn it up to 9 because 10 is theoretical. I'm sure sometime in the future we'll see 10, but 9 is basically setting the Hulk Rage engine up against Thanos and Galactus and the Living Tribunal and the Phoenix Force, and basically trying to get the Hulk to power up as much as he can. And when level 9 is finally reached, we get our first appearance of Titan, as we've been told about. Now, Titan has been sold to us by our friends, by fellow collectors, by YouTube, by social media, as the null character for the Hulk. Now, either I misunderstood null, or something different is going to happen down the line, which is quite possible, or someone really missed the mark, because this is not Hulk's version of null. This is Hulk turned up as far as he can be turned up without going past known limits. This is the Hulk amped up as far as he can go, and he had to do this, of course, for the monsters that Thunderbolt Ross has set out to come and get the Hulk. Meanwhile, we still have this kind of skirmish going on between Thunderbolt Ross and Bruce Banner, in which Bruce finally, if I show you, Bruce kind of ends it all. He gets loose. He ends Ross, but he also tells the other Bruce Banner, who has taken back control of the Starship Hulk through great means. And when I say great means, I feel like I heard this door opening when Bruce decided that the only way he was going to take Starship Hulk back from Betty was to let the Hulk out of the rage machine. And that, like I said, I heard that door opening, so that was a pretty cool scene. You got a fight between Hulk and Betty, which of course Hulk wins. But then you have kind of this ending once Bruce is back in control of Starship Hulk. He basically tricks the Hulk into going back into the engine room. He leaves the Hulk there, and Hulk apologizes, for being the Hulk, probably for all of the commotion he causes, for being himself. He kind of apologizes to Bruce, but Bruce closes up the engine because he still has to help siphon off this bomb that Thunderbolt Ross ordered to be dropped before he perished. And basically they do that, but in the end, we have Bruce basically go back into the void, try and continue on with whatever mission, because we never were told where Bruce was trying to go. But he is met by this cracked Mjolnir coming through the Rainbow Bridge. And if you read Thor and you read the God of Hammer story, you kind of know what is up with this cracked version of Mjolnir. As a bonus, we weren't talking about Thor, but I finally read at least the current story of Thor in here with Odin's funeral. I guess we'll take the lid off that with Odin's funeral and him still not having gone to Valhalla for reasons. If you want to know reasons, go ahead and check out Thor. But it is interesting now, looking back and seeing what happened with the Hulk and what's going to happen or may happen in Banner of War. It's kind of interesting. But I will say, without getting into all of that Banner of War, Thor crossover stuff, issues 4 through 6 were still fun to me. Like I said, it's not a high level read. It's not a high level book. It's kind of just dumb fun. I believe I've heard it described at least a couple of times as dumb but not boring. And I'll take that almost any day of the week. Anyway, if you enjoyed yourself, which I hope you did, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you want to keep up with me, catching up with the comics, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Of course, feel free to leave comments. Let me know what you thought of issues 4 through 6 and the Smastronaut story overall. I think the consensus is probably a little lower than I am for the story, but I enjoyed it anyway, and I still want to hear your opinions. So, as we always do at this time, love yourself, love others, and I will be back in a flash.